What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the CAP Podcast, where we tackle the issues surrounding the greatest country ever established. 242 years running, and you are fortunate enough to be alive at this very moment. I am one of your hosts, Josh Gronin, and sitting across from me is my good friend, Tyler Rivers. How are we doing today?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, indeed. A little cold.
It is chilly.
A little cold.
It's chilly. It's getting cold, man.
Getting dark earlier.
Yeah, it's
we have
sad.
to change the clocks. What is it, next week?
That's right.
Garbage.
It's a depressing time.
I hate daylight savings time.
We're going to fall back, so we're going to gain an hour.
Yeah, but it gets dark. It gets dark too early.
Yeah, but we're more productive.
Kinda. So, like, for me,
Your boss is going to get an extra hour work out of you.
I mean,
something like that.
I leave work at 5 o'clock every day.
Mm-hmm.
So I come in and I see the sun. There's no windows in the room that I work in.
Yeah.
So I don't see the sun all day unless I leave my room.
So in the morning you're coming in, it's dark. Or no,
I
you
come in around 9 o'clock.
Okay.
9 to 5.
Yeah.
9 to 5. So I'll come in and it'll be sunny. But I'll only get that 15-minute drive worth of sunlight.
Yeah.
And then I'm in this room. And then I leave and it's dark.
Wintertime is tough, man. That darkness and that lack of sun plays on your mental state.
It really does.
And it affects your health.
It really does.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm already kind of feeling the effects of it because I'm leaving around 5 o'clock. It's already kind of dark because it's been so cloudy lately.
Right. Well, your circadian rhythm makes you a lot tired, too. Makes you a lot more tired.
Circadian rhythm?
Yeah.
Damn.
You ever heard of that?
Look at you.
So it's basically your body's natural way of knowing when to go to bed. And that's typically when the sun rises, you wake up. When the sun falls, you go to bed. That's kind of how it's set up, and that's how it is. And that's why the wintertime people get a lot more tired.
I know exactly why I'm like all messed up right now. I took my air conditioner out of my room because it's been cold. Don't need it anymore.
Yeah.
I have blinding shades where it's like pitch black in that room if I pull it down all the way.
Sure.
With the AC in there, I had to leave that little gap, and that little bit of sunlight would come in. So now that the AC's out, I have that thing down completely, pitch black in my room all the time. No wonder why I've been like so out of whack.
That's crazy.
Probably. Anyway, if you don't know, you can follow us on Twitter @TheCapToday, Instagram @TheCapToday. What is our topic today?
Accountability.
Accountability.
You ready for it?
I'm ready for it. Accountability and all that good stuff.
So, outside of politics, what does accountability mean to you?
Accountability is owning something. Basically, straightforward, simple, plain put, own it. Own something. If you're accountable for example, you screw something up at work, you messed up, you gotta be held accountable for it, right? You gotta own it. Like, yeah, that's my bad. It was my fault. Whatever.
Sure.
Something along those lines. But you can go deeper into it as well.
Sure. Do you think that you should be accountable for something that was outside of your hands? And what I mean by that is outside of your direct control?
Depends on the situation, but yeah.
You should be held accountable.
A lot of the times, if you're, for example, again in the workplace, if you're a manager and your employee messes up, say, your employee messed up someone's order at a fast food restaurant, the manager always comes over and apologizes. They take accountability for it. Like, I'm so sorry this happened to you. Let's do this, and let's do this to, remedy the situation.
Okay.
To an extent, though, not all the time do you have to take accountability for something that's not your fault or completely out of your control.
Sure. So an example of that would be if I owned a 50-acre piece of land and I had a couple kids four-wheeling on my land without me knowing.
Yeah.
I'm just at home, minding my own business, and these kids, one of them gets hurt.
Yep.
I'm not accountable for that.
No.
But some people would say that I am because it
was on
land,
your property, yeah.
Right. So it's my property. I could have done this. I could have done that. There's a lot. Everyone always has these could-haves. You know what I mean? So that plays into the accountability. But now, what about accountability in politics? Now,
well, this is exactly where I wanted to go into. It just doesn't seem like anyone wants to take accountability for certain things, and that's why I wanted to talk about it today.
Sure.
So the whole in politics, the whole what was it? They had. Is the guy Native American or is he Mexican?
Native American.
He's Native American?
He is.
All right.
That's confirmed.
All right. Confirmed Native American.
He owned two businesses.
He did?
He owned two businesses. One of which was, both of which had the words Native American in the title.
Jeez.
And they were both pop-up businesses. I don't remember the names of the businesses now. But they were both kind of like pop-up businesses that just lasted maybe a year or two and then failed.
So this is the guy who sent packages to Hillary Clinton, the Obamas, and all that stuff. And what else did he do? Did he send it to Robert De Niro?
He did. He sent it to a list of about
bunch of different people.
It was over 15 people.
Yeah.
And it was pretty much anybody that's ever expressed any kind of opposition, hatred,
Right.
words towards President Trump and towards the GOP. It
Yeah.
wasn't just that. So it wasn't just politicians either.
Yep.
As you said, it was Robert
It
De
was
Niro.
freaking Robert De Niro.
CNN newscasters.
Yes, they went to CNN. It was like their physical building, wasn't it?
Right, and
yeah.
then I went to a couple reporters as well from the Washington Times.
Jeez, ridiculous.
Yeah.
What's interesting though is that Republicans are holding themselves accountable for this to an extent. Obviously, it's not like it's all Republicans' fault, but they denounce it immediately. They're like, you know what? Some of the rhetoric is wrong. This should not have happened. We need to stop this guy. We'll denounce it on both ends. What gets me is that Democrats won't take accountability for the exact same thing. So you had that stupid broad, who's that congresswoman, Maxine Waters, right? Who's like, you need to yell at these people at a restaurant. You need to get them at a department store and just, hound them and blah, blah, blah. When people do that, they're like, yes, keep going. Not like, that's still a bad thing.
Right.
You need to be held accountable for your actions and such. So the whole point is, Republicans are at least denouncing this on both sides of the spectrum. Like, this is wrong. We denounce this person, terrible person. We do hold ourselves accountable because some of the stuff that we've said can fire people up.
Yep.
Other side doesn't do it. Hypocrisy?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. What's funny to me about this guy is that he's a complete crazy person.
Dude's
right?
a lunatic, yeah.
This is not somebody that's listening to Trump's rhetoric and going, oh, well, that makes sense. I understand what he means.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay, this, that. No, this is someone that probably listens to homeless people on the street and goes, these people are Jesus.
Oh, do you think so?
You know what I mean? Like, that's how crazy this guy is. Like, he gets his advice in words from political figures and people and takes it the completely wrong way that a normal sane person
Might be
would.
mentally ill. Yeah, you might not be
sure.
sane. He might not be
absolutely.
mentally
So
sane.
this guy has a long criminal record.
Oh, yeah, going back to like the 90s, early
So-
90s.
So not only that, so that right there, I mean, it not the way that this sounds, but to have a criminal record that's extensive. So it's not like you goofed up once.
No, he
This is
goofed
a
up
lot of
several
goof
times.
ups.
Yeah.
You need to be some sort of different mentally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not normal to
Yeah.
do that. So that, with that said, the other thing too is, did you see the van? You saw the van.
Have you seen the conspiracy theories about the van?
Well, I don't want to get to false flags because
I don't want to
believe-
get into those either, but I mean, some of them are kind of...
I don't believe it though. I don't believe that this was a false flag. I believe that this was a genuine crazy person that did something very crazy.
Dude might have been crazy, but I thought you were going to go on the lines of his van looking...
His van looked brand new. All of the stickers,
Yeah.
so we all know what bumper stickers are and we all know how they work. So this guy had multiple bumper stickers, all and just regular decals
Looking
all over
mint.
his windows.
looking mint, though. No sun
Perfectly
damage.
set up,
Yeah.
no sun damage or anything. Now, the interesting part about that is people are jumping a false flag. People are
Right.
saying, you know what, they probably took this van in overnight. They just put a whole bunch of stickers
Yeah,
on there.
because it's midterms are coming up.
He's
They need
being
to rally their
framed.
base. Yeah.
You know, this guy was the Men in Black, the red pen button.
Yeah, they're
He was
pushing
like,
it,
boom,
erasing his mind.
You know what I mean? And they downloaded some new code into his mind that says, you got to do this, you got to do that.
I don't
So
want to get all Alex Jonesy, but
aliens,
I do like that conspiracy theory.
Aliens
It sounds
took him
pretty
over,
legit.
man.
Hey, man, they might have.
they picked him up and they were like, yo, here's
They
what you
might
got to do. But no, I think that this was almost like a mental breakdown where this guy probably sat
Might have snapped.
at home on a Friday night, made all these bombs, sent them out in the mail, and then probably the same night, because you know that things don't fade overnight. Things
No.
it doesn't take. A bumper sticker will look great for a couple days or
Yeah.
a couple weeks. It's not like it just fades instantly as soon as you
Sure.
get sunlight. So
Sure.
this guy must have had some kind of mental breakdown where he sent all this out. He put all these stickers on his van, started riding around, and just started preaching rhetoric that made no sense to anybody.
Yep.
And what's funny about it is he addressed the return as a Republican politician from Florida.
Did he? I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
So
Was he from Florida?
he
Is
was
that
from
we-
Florida.
Why are all the crazies in Florida?
It's a big swing state, man.
Yeah, there's just a lot of crazy people. It's like everything.
You're
like,
either
just-
old or crazy in Florida.
It's like just when everything gets back to normal, everybody's having a good time.
Very
Florida
true.
goes off and does something crazy. Always. I love Florida.
I would agree.
Believe me, I love Florida.
Yeah.
But what the hell's going on down there?
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. So accountability wise, what do you think? Should President Trump take any sort of, and I mean any, so small or big, accountability for this guy's actions, or should the Democrats take responsibility, or should nobody take responsibility that this was just an act of crazy?
I think it's more than just the Republicans have to take accountability for this one, though. Like, they're already denouncing it and stuff. Like, they're already saying, like, we got to chill a little bit like that. This is not what we're about. We don't need to be sending this type of stuff. We don't want to be, like, mob rule like the Democrats.
But President Trump has not denounced it.
He hasn't, but he does his own thing, and I respect him for it. He does his own thing.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, he's not going to stop doing what he does, because that's how he won. He can't change himself, and I don't want him to change, to be honest with you. And I don't necessarily think that this is his fault. I think it's a broader spectrum. I think you can put Republicans at fault for it, for having sort of a crazy base, just like the Democrats, who have a crazy base. But Democrats rally their base to get crazy on purpose, right? I think the main people that should be held accountable are the media for stirring stuff up like this. They stir the pot so much.
I agree.
And like you said, this guy probably just snapped one. It's hard to not snap. If you watch the news as, I don't know, I don't even want to say just like specific stations like CNN, MSNBC, or Fox or something like that. You watch any type of news constantly without breaks or, without something in between to break up
all
the day.
they talk about is President Trump.
Exactly.
All they talk about. So I totally agree.
And you will snap at that point.
I think accountability-wise should be on the media.
I think so too.
Because if you look at what Trump has said in the past, he's never incited violence. To a point, but I'm not saying to the point where he's saying, yeah, create pipe bombs and send them to your favorite, all the Democrats.
The worst thing he's ever said was some guy protesting at his rally said someone punched that guy in the face. And it's like, guy probably needed to be punched in the face anyway. But
that's a lot different than
it's completely different
sending bombs in the mail.
Well, it's like he does the same thing that Maxine type did. Rallies up the troops where it's like, go out and find these people and harass them and stuff like that. It's just no one's ever said anything about like threatening with murder.
You know what's interesting about this is, and it's something that when you brought today's topic to me, I started thinking about, because I've had the thoughts before about how it would be handled in America, is overthrowing the government and talking about some kind of rebellion. So there's a fine line between treason and constitutional right.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like a lot of people get treason wrong. When
they definitely get treason wrong. They definitely get treason wrong.
Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Most people encompass treason with something that you do that goes against the government.
Yeah,
is treasonous.
Yep.
But to me, in the Constitution, it outlines that you have the ability, as an American citizen, to organize a rebellion with a regulated militia, and to win back a government that acts tyrannical or starts a genocide or anything that's oppressive to the free state of the Constitution. Now, even
something as small as raising your taxes.
Sure. No, absolutely. We did it at the Boston Tea Party, man.
Yeah.
And we won.
Taxation is theft.
It is, absolutely. But it's interesting to me that I wonder what would happen in this country if somebody stood up and did that. If somebody organized something. Because thousands of people in America have those same thoughts. Thousands of people in America want the country to go back to, quote unquote, what it was.
Yeah.
Right. When we were a democracy, we were never really a democracy. We were always a republic.
We're a republic, right? Yeah.
But I agree with a little bit of both. But that's a whole nother.
Yeah, I mean that's a whole other rabbit hole to jump down.
But a lot of people want to go back to what we were when we were just run by the Constitution.
Yeah.
And the local laws.
Stop trying to make us more like Europe, right? Yeah,
exactly.
Like we have the Constitution. Keep us separate from the rest of the world.
Who takes accountability for that?
Oh.
Now, to me, in the Constitution, that's outlined that as an American citizen, you can do that. Now, you're asking yourself, you're getting yourself geared up for war.
Yeah.
Versus the United States government, not the states, the government, right? But now the government has so many different hands in it. The National Guard, things like that.
Oh yeah, it's really dense. Really dense.
Now, remember, the National Guard's controlled by your governor.
Yep.
So, in a case of what is the word I'm looking for?
Like a state of emergency.
State of emergency, or what's the other one?
Not like a
martial law.
Disaster. Martial law. Oh,
when martial law is declared, the governor has control over the National Guard for that.
Yep.
And that's considered your well-regulated militia.
Yep.
Well, now let's say you want to create a well-regulated militia that's just private citizen.
Hmm.
That's going to be seen as a terrorist cell.
Yeah, I mean, well,
There's a lot of
Yeah.
different things that kind of go through that. So who takes accountability for that? Now, let's say that this crazy guy from Florida just said, "You know what? I'm going to grab a rifle. I'm going to get a couple of my crazy redneck buddies and Native American buddies and Hispanic buddies and
Elizabeth
whoever,
Warren.
and I'm going to load up some trucks and we're going to go try to fight the United States government." You know what
Yeah.
that's going to be considered as? Terrorism.
Yeah.
Now, in a way, he's not wrong. Now, in a way, the government's not wrong
Yeah.
because it's terrorism towards them.
Hmm.
But it's only meant they're in their constitutional limits.
Yeah. I mean, I think you just broke me right there because it's like, shit, who's in the wrong? And it's like,
How do you do it?
he's just exercising one of his rights. Damn.
Now that's
broke
the
me
thing
on that
is
one.
that's the thing is, you know, you go based off of definitions. Is the government tyrannical?
Right.
You know, is he a tyrant or is she a tyrant? Right.
Yeah.
So there's
Well-
certain definitions that need to be made before you can
Yeah.
act.
It sounds more along the lines of this person just feels self-righteous and needs to do it, right? There's no like
Sure.
genuine reason for it.
But now here's where it plays into your part:
Mhm.
is Democrats won't take any responsibility or accountability.
Mhm.
Well, because most of their stuff is based off of opinions and feelings,
Exactly.
not based off of
Not
facts.
based off of the greatest document ever written.
Now, if you had a
Law.
Republican president, not independent, Republican,
Okay.
and he was tyrannical, you would have Republican governors lining up to help you and standing with you. Because
Yeah.
a lot of Republicans believe in the Constitution and believe in meeting those criteria before you can act upon it.
Yep.
And they would take responsibility and accountability.
Exactly.
Where Democrats would go, why would you want to kill him, though? Why
Yeah.
would you want to hurt somebody?
Right.
Even though this guy could be raising taxes on everything,
Well-
tariffs are crazy, started another massive trade war with everybody else.
Right. The Democrats don't even take accountability for what they've already ensued
Done.
with like Antifa and stuff.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
Antifa is one of these. It's almost exactly what you described. And they're doing terrible things like beating up a 75-year-old man, and they're just like, well, it's because they're fired up. They're a fired up base right now. It's like, no, they're terrorists. These people
Sure.
are doing terrible things.
Sure.
They have the right to exercise it to an extent, other than becoming violent and hitting innocent people.
That's a lot different than going against the government when
Yeah.
you rally in the street.
A lot of these people are just uninformed too. A lot of these people are just dumb.
Yeah, well, I blame the media should take accountability for that. Now,
Yeah.
I mean, in a way, you could start going all the way through the whole oligarchy of tree branches, and you can go, well, actually, it started from a young age when he didn't get the education that he needed. You know what I mean?
So it all
uninformed.
started when I was born.
And then it started with going further than back. He was in an abusive household because
Yeah.
they didn't have enough money because the government, blah 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 blah. So you could keep going.
Yeah.
End of
There's always some excuse. Right?
At the end of the day, man, I'm sorry. Everybody knows what's right and everybody knows what's wrong.
Yeah.
You choose one or the other.
Well, I mean, you'd hope so.
You have a person that's deemed mentally sane. You choose right or wrong.
Yeah.
That's a choice. You choose what, and it might be because it's easier. It might be because it's more fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you are accountable, right? So it's very interesting to me to see how people play out things like that happened with the guy
Yeah.
in Florida.
Yep. Well, they have even so that the Caravan's still creeping up, still getting a little closer, inching closer and closer. I think today the president said he was going to send troops down to the border.
800.
He did 800.
800.
That's it.
It's a lot of guys.
I thought it was 8,000. Is it 800?
8,000 would be crazy.
Maybe you're right. Something like that.
8,000. We're sending M1 Abrams. We're sending.
I mean, either way, he's sending them down there, right?
Yeah.
And I saw some other things today. I was even talking to people about it today, where it's Democrats are okay with letting these people in because if they let them in, they will have a new voter base to vote for Democrats, right? You let in these illegal immigrants, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be Democrat, right? Because the Democrats will give them amnesty. And they want the Caravan to come through. They're all self-righteous, like, yeah, let them come in and stuff like that.
How many people are in the Caravan?
Oh, I don't know. Do you know?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm gonna look that up.
Even if there's one, that's too many.
Yeah,
Even if
I
there's just
agree.
one guy.
No, I agree. I'm gonna look that up.
So the whole point I'm going on this rabbit hole though is that so where I want accountability held is Democrats, 15, not even 15 years ago, man, like freaking 8 years. Well, it's so weird that we're in 2018 and 2010 was like.
I have to cut you off for a minute. I apologize. I was wrong. U.S. will deploy 5,200 additional troops to the Mexican border.
Oh, it is
5, as of an
5,000?
hour ago.
Okay, yeah.
I think the initial plan was only 800.
800, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5,000 is a pretty good chunk. Where's it going? It's just weird. Yeah, 2018 and then 2010 was like 8 years ago and such. But Democrats were all against illegal immigration at one point. And then they quickly shift to like, no, we got to let these people in. They need to be held accountable in the sense that you're changing your opinion just to get power. You're not changing it to benefit the American people. You're changing your opinion to gain power, gain votes. You people need to be held accountable for this because you're lying, first of all, and you basically know the facts around it. They used to spew out facts like, oh, illegal immigration would hurt the middle class because it would work on basically giving several thousand jobs to, lower wage jobs because immigrants will work for less money than, an average American. So
Sure.
Jobs would decrease and stagnant wages would decrease, and it's bad for the economy, basically. It's a very butchered summary of it. It gets a lot more dense than that to why it could be like that. But they're basically lying to get votes.
Sure.
Who holds them accountable? Because no one's calling them out on it.
Technically, the House and the Senate should be. That's why we have checks and balances.
Checks and balances.
But that doesn't happen.
But they're trying to change the rules in the law.
Right, and that all happens in the House and the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
So
if this caravan my point is if the caravan gets in,
right,
they were at one point against illegal immigration. Now they're like, well, we need votes because most Democrats in this country are lazy and won't go out and vote. Look at Bernie Sanders, right? He could have won if all of the Democrats came out and voted. Maybe.
Honestly, I think that if the Republicans got out and voted, we would have won by more of a landslide.
Maybe. I mean, I think majority of the people are probably Republican and just don't know it.
Well, who do you think votes less, Republicans or Democrats?
I think Democrats.
Like by turnout.
I think it's Democrats, and the only reason I say that is because a lot of them are just too lazy to go out and vote. I think if a lot of them did go out and vote, there would have been a different outcome in the Democratic primaries.
Sure.
Because, I mean, if you look at it, the Bernie supporters that didn't come out, he would have beaten Hillary.
Could you imagine the mass chaos that would ensue if every single person in this country was well enough informed to go out and vote?
We would have a single-party system at that point. Because everyone would be smart enough to know. If everyone was educated enough, they would know to not vote Democrat because of what these Democrats.
But not even that. Sure. I agree with that, but I also mean educated based off of their own beliefs. So a lot. You got to remember, a lot of Democratic and Republican platform is opinion based.
Yes.
Abortion.
Yeah. Taxes, abortion,
assisted
social
suicide,
issues,
all sorts of
stuff. A lot of
stuff.
social. It's mostly social issues.
Yeah. So but those issues are what people gravitate towards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Depending on, universal health care versus private sector health care, military spending versus non-military spending. But if they were educated and they knew enough to go out and vote, how big those numbers would be, that'd be insane.
Oh, yeah.
Election night wouldn't be a night anymore. It would be a day. They would say, okay, the polls close at 6 p.m.
Right. It would take forever
Pacific
to count
time.
all that type of stuff. Because, you
wouldn't get the president. You wouldn't know the results until the following day.
Yeah. I mean, it takes a long time now. Imagine if everyone went
it
out
takes
and
hours
stuff.
now.
Yeah.
Polling closes in Ohio at, 6 o'clock. That's a big number.
Plus, I mean, you would have, like, East Coast time would be 9 o'clock. It would be West Coast
You'd
would be
have
6 o'clock.
Yep,
so
absolutely. I think it's a 3-hour difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you'd have crazy stuff like that.
Yep.
But back to the point, though, I'm trying to make, though, is that you need to hold these people accountable in the sense that these people are just lying for power. They're lying for votes. To bring in this caravan would be a bad idea. It's funny that nobody learns from, like, history. It's funny because Republicans that seem to be the only one that reference history. If you, like, hear any Democratic speeches, they're not like, back in this time we did it this way. Why did we change it?
Right.
It's because they don't care about history and stuff like that.
Right.
They don't care. They want to make the same mistakes that other countries are making now that, were made 100+ years ago.
Well, here's the thing. So a little info about that Caravan. The Caravan is in southern Mexico. It's about 1,000 miles from the United States border. This article was posted October 28th this afternoon. I'm sorry, the 29th, which is today. The Caravan itself is anywhere between 3,600 to 7,000 immigrants.
Wow.
That's a massive caravan. Okay, that's a lot of people. It is covering 20 to 30 miles each day. Now, some of these people are walking.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, these aren't all people.
No, it's not one bus with 7,000 people on it.
Right. Some of these people, there's vehicles in this caravan, but most of these people are walking.
Yeah.
From Honduras through Mexico.
Yep.
This is almost a pilgrimage.
Yep.
Right? You're going this far, this distance. People have died in this caravan.
Yep.
Trying to make this journey.
Yeah.
What's interesting about this is people are weighing the humanitarian factor. Now you have all thousands of these people that are going to be coming to our border, and they're going to be asking for amnesty from their government. Guatemala is a horrible place. There's no doubt about it.
Why are they waving Guatemalan flags, celebrating Guatemala?
Because they're
full of crap is why. Because they're so full of crap is why.
I agree. Now, I also agree in national pride, regardless of who runs your country. Now,
sure.
If you believe on the founding principles of what your country was made for,
mm-hmm.
and you're proud of that, wave your flag.
Sure.
You're not advocating for the president. Now, let's say we voted a tyrant into the United States government. Mm-hmm. And he takes over and he becomes some sort of dictator. Well, I'm going to continue to wave the American flag because that's what I believe in. I believe in the country itself, not the president.
Yeah, a famous Teddy Roosevelt quote is patriotism means to stand by your country, not by your president.
So exactly. Yeah. So I never care about when you're driving through some of the towns in our area when you see a Puerto Rican flag hanging from a car.
Yeah.
Because I understand.
No, that's fine, right? You have your own sense of nationalism.
Sure,
that's
and I don't think it's wrong.
Just don't wave it above the American flag because I have seen people do that. And I agree. I think that me.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that if you're in America, American flag is above all else.
Yeah, I mean you can wave both flags. Just the American one's supposed to be on top.
Technically, by flag regulation, yes, and I agree with it, and I believe that is morally a good thing to do.
Yeah,
it shows respect for the people that for the country that you came into.
Not to be like one of those ignorant rednecks, but it's like, why come here if you don't like it, right?
Exactly.
So you should show pride for the American flag as well.
That's the issue with these immigrants from Guatemala is most people are bashing them because of that. I don't think you should bash them because of that. I really don't.
No, I don't think you should either.
Now, 7,000 people is a lot of people. I'm going on the high number. Okay, they're going to be coming to the border, and they're going to be camping out.
Yep.
Well, my issue with this is we've seen it all over the world, refugees going to other countries, leaving their governments and going to better countries.
Yep.
Eventually,
and it's not worked out for them.
Eventually, all these people are going to leave their countries, and these governments are just going to take over the remainder of the people. Do you see what I'm saying there?
No. What do you
you're going to have places like Guatemala, Honduras, Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, where the governments are just going to become crippled and tyrannical and all sorts of bad. Now, I know Iraq and Afghanistan aren't like that right now.
Because we're there. But if we were to leave,
history has shown they become that.
Yeah.
So places like Iran, other places across, I'm not using the Middle East and South America just as the example.
No, but those are good examples. But yeah, I see where you're going.
People are going to end up leaving those countries and going to better countries.
Yep.
Eventually, that population will decline. The government themselves will step in and go, you know what? We only have maybe 3 or 4 million people.
Right.
What's a couple bombs in the capital going to do? You know what I mean? No, and all of a sudden, now you have a government that says this country's ours now.
Yeah.
You can't vote us out. You guys are done.
Yeah.
You don't even have the fighting power to come back at us.
Yeah.
Now, because of all your people left to another country where they're uneducated, most of them.
Sure.
Uneducated. They don't know how to. They will never join the United States military.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some of them do.
Mm-hmm.
Some illegals have joined the United States military, and I believe that those people should be granted.
They get automatic citizenship in my books. If that's the case.
I think it should be one of the new forms that they should come out where it says, if you want to serve in the United States military and you are an illegal immigrant on the waiting list.
What would your minimum be? Like you serve it for like minimum
4 years.
4 years?
4 years.
Okay.
Yep. 4 years is pretty standard to me. I wouldn't necessarily put them in a
It doesn't have to be a combat situation. It could be anything. We'll train them and get them educated on, certain things that they would have to do for their job.
I think that it should be selective, just because of how this is. So you have a kid, 18 years old, out of high school, super smart with computers, and he wants to go into cybersecurity for the Air Force. He should get priority pick over another guy that went to school in Mexico. He went to school until he was 17. He's coming over as 19-year-old, and he's been out of school for 2 years.
Not saying one's better than the other, but one.
I'm saying one is better than the other. I'm saying one has that privilege.
One has a particular set of skills that you want, right?
Yes.
So.
And I think that the United States military is accountable for getting that illegal immigrant the training and the proper fair treatment he deserves if he's going to be doing this service to our nation.
Yeah.
And he should be granted citizenship.
Yep.
Now to kind of reel this back into the accountability side for the humanitarian rights of these Guatemalans, what do? Do you say, hey guys, sorry, you're going to have to wait here, fill out these forms, and we're going to wait
months? No, because that's not fair to the people that have already filled out the forms. What's interesting is I have no idea how this is going to play out. They're going to go up to the border.
What's your best guess?
I'm curious. I don't think it would happen. But for some reason in the back of my head, there's a voice saying, are they going to shoot on sight? Is it going to get to the point where they're on one side, you cross this line, we're telling you, what are they going to do, arrest them, and then they're just going to be in an American prison? Or we're going to have to deport them, which costs a lot of money. What are we going to do to stop these people from coming in? Is it going to be shoot on sight? How do we stop them? What are they going to do? Because it's basically just going to be a good old Mexican standoff, if that's even still a thing.
Get it?
A Mexican standoff.
Get it?
You got the Mexicans on one side.
Guatemalans.
Whatever.
Now, inside of this caravan, you don't know who's in it either.
Could be a terrorist.
There could be.
You don't know.
There's cartels and gang members all over the place.
Rapists, drug dealers, sure. It could very well be.
7,000 people is a lot of people.
It could very well be. People who have extensive criminal records.
7,000 people is a lot of people.
Yeah. I guarantee you not one of them is pearly perfect. Not one of them is a saint. All of them have some sort of background story that they've probably done something wrong.
Sure. I think that might be a little bit of a stretch, but I know what you're going with that.
They're probably fleeing the country.
I bet you
because
there are some genuine
arrest.
I'm playing on the side of not devil's advocate, but kind of God's angel's advocate here. Is I believe that there probably is a couple people in there, families with kids that are genuinely just trying to leave their country.
Maybe.
But I also believe other people have other intentions. I look at the bad in everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to believe that there's bad in everybody before you start looking for the good.
Yeah. What do you think they're going to do, though? When they get there, it's just going to be one side and the other. What do you
picture this happening as there's a checkpoint in the Mexican-United States border, and we're going to have a huge traffic backup, number one, right? And there's going to be a massive caravan. People are going to literally fill up the highway.
Yeah.
It's going to be reported all over the news with aerial shots, video footage.
Oh, yeah, and I'm sure they'll put their own spin on it. Yep.
And then all of a sudden it's going to be a hot and heavy issue to say, President Trump, let these people in.
Yep. Well, that's why the midterms are so important, is because if the Democrats get in, they can vote like, yeah, we want all these people to come in and such. That's why it's so important that Republicans win it.
If that happens, so when this situation plays out and we have all these people standing at the border, I firmly believe it's going to come down to, if you cross in the United States, you will be arrested regardless of who you are or what you're doing. I don't believe that they'll shoot. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because you're not shooting.
I don't think they'd shoot on sight either, but it's just in the back of my mind where I feel like they would.
Because if you were to do that, you'd be starting a war with Mexico.
No, I don't think so. I think the Mexicans are on our side with this one.
I don't believe so, because they already allowed passage through their own border from Guatemala.
That's because they're weak.
So they're not on our side then.
I don't think that they want them to cross into the United States either, because I think
they're allowing them transport through.
The only reason they're doing that is because they're weak. They have no.
But they But
cojones.
they wouldn't tolerate United States soldiers shooting into Mexico.
I think they would, because again, they just don't have the balls to say don't do that. I think they're just caught in the middle of something. I think it's made pretty clear to them.
Because they know that they could easily defeat Guatemala if Guatemala were to come after them. They know that they would be easily able to defeat Honduras if Honduras came after them.
They don't have money. I don't think that they could easily do anything.
But the Mexican army is pretty decently big.
I mean, maybe, but do you have quality in it? I genuinely don't know. I don't think you have quality in
I think that any kind of operation like that, which would involve civilians getting killed on Mexican soil, would definitely be grounds for,
I don't think they would. Maybe. I don't think they would, though. Again, I don't think Mexico has the cojones.
Yeah.
I don't think they do. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Sure.
It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I don't think it would be shoot on sight either, but I hope it's not. You cross the border, we're going to arrest your ass, because that's just going to be a waste of money.
So here's
And
my
it's not
thing.
fair to the taxpayers.
Here's my thing. You know what I would do if I was President Trump?
What?
And I could call the shots.
Yep.
And let's pretend I didn't have any checks and balances. So for all sense, I'm a dictator at the point.
Okay.
And I have this caravan of people coming towards my country. And I have the stance on immigration, how I have it. You come into this country legally. You fill out the forms, you wait your turn. I would work with Mexico to literally set up a camp. A temporary fenced-in area with housing.
Don't use the word camp.
No, I would call it a camp. It's not a detention center. It's not a...
We're going to put them all in a camp and
It's
tell
not
them
an
to
imprison.
concentrate.
They're not in prison. They're more than welcome to come and go as they please in and out of the camp.
Okay.
We're going to provide them security. We're going to provide them with government food and water. If
Government food and water. Why that?
just government food and water.
I'm not paying
basic
for it.
humanitarian rights.
I'm not paying for it.
I don't care, but it's basic humanitarian rights.
Don't want to pay for
of
it.
any people for any country to be able to give to somebody.
Mhm.
I'm not saying we're going to give them health care. If volunteer doctors want to spend time in this camp, anyone can walk in and out of this camp. It's literally an open wall.
Okay.
Open doors.
Yep.
Now maybe there's a security checkpoint so somebody can't walk in with a machine gun.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
But anybody can walk into this camp. No legal status required. It doesn't matter who you are. And this is where these 7,000 people are going to live. Because
how long?
because the Lord knows that we have all sorts of land.
But how long can this last? This camp can't be open forever. There's 7,000 people, and they're going to be pretty comfortable if they're getting free food and all this stuff. They're not going to want to leave.
But they have nothing else. There's gonna be no electricity. This isn't going to be a comfy camp. This is going to be tents.
I mean, it can't be. It would
with
have,
portable heaters
Yeah.
that are going to be very minimal. It's more than what they have now.
It's more than what they have now, which
Food
makes me
and
think
water.
They'd be content
They're going to
with
have
it for a short
security.
while.
They're going to have security, and they're going to have volunteers that will come and help them. Because some people are good. A lot of people like to volunteer, and a lot of people will show up. Doctors are one of the most interesting kind of people because they volunteer a lot of their time, even though they spend a lot of money on their education, a lot of time.
Yeah.
They love to volunteer their time. I've never met a doctor that's like, sorry, can't help you.
Yeah, no. That's
You know what I
because
mean?
of their oath or probably something like that.
So
here's where I like kind of go ahead, finish.
I think that the 7,000 people should then all be given forms. Okay, here's how you become a citizen of the United States. Fill out these forms.
Yeah. I just think
And then we start working on it. We need a bigger administrative system that takes care of these forms and is able to process this. Now, the hard part is background checks. In Guatemala, you'll never be able to contact the Guatemalan government and go, hey, I need the criminal record on this guy.
X, Y, and Z, yeah.
You'll never be able to do that. But I think to the best of our ability, we should be able to try to figure out who is this person, what documentation do they have, what is their abilities. You know, were they a farmer? Were they
What
some
can they
kind of
contribute?
lawyer?
Yeah, what can they
What were they?
contribute?
Right. And be able to say, okay, if you're going to come into the country, what's your game plan? What are you going to do? Do you have family? Do you not have family? And basically everything we do anyways. But get the ball rolling. Bring in 1,000 extra workers for 2 years to be able to vet all of these people and get them placed.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
That
And
sounds just like a lot of money to me. It sounds like a lot of money.
I don't think it's a lot of money though.
Here's where
because we're going to work hand in hand with the Mexican government.
I think that's a slap in the face to anyone in this country that needs it. Anyone in this, I mean, you go down to freaking Skid Row in California, all those people deserve it more than the people in the Caravan coming through. All right, and
Wrong. Unfortunately, you're wrong. And the only reason why is because, contrary to popular belief, a lot of homeless people have at one point
sure, a lot of them had the ability to get out of it,
to do something different, and they decided not to.
I don't disagree with you on that point, but at least they're already American citizens. It's also a slap in the face to the people who have been doing it the right way that aren't getting this special treatment. There's a lot of people that have
because a lot of people that are doing it the right way aren't sitting at the border with thousands of other families.
So they deserve to be prioritized, though.
But I see it as a point of humanitarianism and security.
That tells me that if I throw a temper tantrum and I run up to you and be like, give me this, give me this, give me this, give me this now, they're like, all right, just shut the fuck up. Here, have it. That type thing.
No.
I don't know, man.
No,
I think it would send a bad message.
I don't believe so.
Real quick, here's what I would do.
Yeah.
real quick.
Yeah.
I would
I guess we can take your opinion, Josh, on this show.
what
would you do?
I would create a big circle around the border and bomb it so there's a big ditch, and if they want to get across it, they're going to have to find a way to crawl through this huge
You're going
ditch.
to drop a bomb on Mexican soil?
No, I wouldn't drop a bomb. I would drop a bomb. I would probably do it. I do it on the American side. I don't care. There's no one around.
I care.
Get this
I want
big
bombs
area.
dropped on the
just this
American
big-
side.
It'll be a new monument or something like that. It'll be this new Grand
The
Canyon.
ditch of the Caravan.
We'll make
the Caravan ditch.
a man-made Grand Canyon just to stop these people. They want to get across.
Jesus.
They got a tightrope
What are you
across.
dropping here?
I don't know.
Uranium?
Maybe.
Pure uranium.
Drop something
Falling
big
from
enough.
the sky.
And it's like, well, there's no roads now.
Kaboom.
How you gonna get there? We'll build a canal around
You'll
it.
see
Like the
Josh
Panama
out there
Canal.
with an excavator just
I got a
every-
pickaxe.
every
I'll
day.
do it by hand.
every day.
Thousands of miles by hand pickaxe.
So your solution is drop a bomb.
Drop a bomb. They're not allowed to. Hey, they won't be able to drive it. Oh, we could do that. I would love
They
that.
can walk across it.
I would love that. It'd be a huge ditch. They would have to climb down thousands. It'd be like the Grand Canyon. Try to go across the
I
Grand
don't
Canyon.
think bombs are like that, Josh.
It would be a man-made Grand Canyon. I think we could do it. We have the technology. Not only do we have the technology, we built the Panama Canal, right? We could do that.
So you want to
across the
create a
Mexican
physical border across Mexico.
Man-made. We can make it like
So
the
why
ocean.
not make a wall?
I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Make a huge wall.
But in all seriousness, what would you do?
That's in all seriousness. That is what I would do.
So to stop 7,000 people from entering the country, you would make a billion-trillion-dollar wall.
Yeah, but it'd be something to look at least. It'd be something to look at least.
But that's going to happen anyway.
Building the wall.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not done yet.
So it kind of sounds like to me that when someone comes to you and wants something, you just put up a wall and block everyone out.
No, it depends on who you are and what you want.
No. That's not
I
what
don't
this
think
sounds
these.
like.
I don't think these people deserve to come in here for any circumstance. I don't think they deserve to come in here for any circumstance. I don't want them in here. No, don't want them.
Why don't they deserve it? What is it? Why do they deserve it less than a guy from France that wants to become a United States citizen?
If he does it the right way, these people aren't doing
These
it the
people
right
are
way.
going to do it the right
No.
way, though.
See, this is what gets me going. Is that I don't think these people are going to do it the right way. This is something that you and I are going to
But
disagree
we're going
with.
to force, in my way, we're going to force them to.
I don't want to have to force them to do it because again, it goes down to they're throwing a temper tantrum. So to get them out of the way, we're gonna
Nobody's throwing
give them special.
a temper tantrum.
Well, then why do they get special treatment? Because they're forcibly doing something.
Because they're at the border.
Turn them around.
The guy in France is not sitting at a dock in. Do
If
you
there
see
was-
what I'm
if-
saying?
I
there?
see what you're saying. If there was a boat from Europe, we did this actually during World War II. There were Jews trying to flee to America, and we're just like, no, go back.
Well, everybody went to Ellis Island,
yeah, we need to
and
open.
filled
We
out.
need to reopen Ellis Island probably.
but that's what happened. Was they came to us and we processed them at Ellis Island, and everybody got in.
No, we turned a lot of them back.
Well, because Ellis Island's only so big.
I'm saying in general, there's a legitimate thing where Jews were trying to flee Europe to come to America, and we did. We literally turned them around. Like, no, we're not accepting any applicants. Go back.
Probably because we had such a massive backlog. Every single Jew in Europe was trying to
It wasn't every
move.
single Jew, but it was just like the notion-
95%.
Well, it's the notion. It's the same notion now, though, that there's a lot of Mexicans here. There's a lot of Canadians maybe that want to come here. Anyone that wants to come here, they got to do it the right way. We
Right,
can't accept everybody.
I totally agree, but we're making these people do it the right way. This is where the United States is accountable for security for the United States. Now we're saying, hey, listen, you're at the border. There's 7,000 of you
Right.
that are fleeing a government that is indeed tyrannical. Guatemala is not a good place.
No, it's not.
Okay, their military is screwed up. Their police force is screwed up. They're
There's
corrupt and they're bad.
There's corruption. Yeah.
They have a valid reason for leaving. Now,
Sure.
Canada, you don't really have a valid reason to leave Canada
They
besides
ran out of pot.
besides they just want to become American. They're not fleeing an oppressive government.
Sure.
No, I agree. Those people were on the list. Some people were on the list first. We should keep them on the list, and they should be given priority first.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is these people need humanitarian help. It's like people from Syria. I agree. We did it wrong in Europe. We just let people in. Wrong. We should have set up some sort of methodical way to say, hey, listen, guys, we know the situation sucks. To set up a center of security and basic food and water. I'm not saying we're going
Right.
to be feeding these people steak in
No, they'll get
seafood.
freeze-dried food and water.
I'm talking they're going to get
Bare
bare
minimum.
basic help, okay?
Sure.
And we're going to set up a camp that's maybe, remember, it's 7,000 people. Okay?
Yep.
We don't need anything crazy. We really don't. You could hire a company that's going to build them a pop-up aircraft hangar, and bam, you can fit 1,000 people in one.
Yeah.
Now build 7 of them, and build an extra one for everyone else. All the volunteers are going to be there, all the security guards, everything else. And Mexican government deploy their National Guard. Bring in 1,000 guys that are just going to watch over 100 military members that are just going to watch over these people. We're going to send them some food and water. It's really not that hard. Money-wise, you're going to be the Mexican government can pay their own military, which they already do for doing nothing. Because what war is Mexico in?
They're
And then
public servants.
the
I don't know,
United
maybe
States
they're
can
doing
help
something.
with the construction of the aircraft hangars. We're not talking about waiting to get funding for millions of dollars worth of wall. We're talking
you're
just a
creating
couple
jobs
million
at this
dollars.
point, so you're at least doing something good. You're creating jobs at this point, but again,
But this shows a good
it's still-
this shows a good coalition between Mexico and the United States. This is showing that hey, the United States cares about humanitarian rights. Mexico cares about humanitarian rights.
building
understand
a friendship, building a bond type.
We
thing.
understand that these 7,000 people are in desperate need right now. Maybe after this, we create a program that says, hey, listen, you need help and you need security and you want to come to the United States, come to this camp. Day one, you come to this camp, you fill out your forms. You're guaranteed it's going to take you 6 months before you're guaranteed access into the country. Or let's say a year, right?
What do they do for the year?
You live. Maybe we set up. There's going to be people that are volunteers, so maybe we set up some kind of educational system for
Put them
kids.
to work, make them earn it.
What's that?
Make them earn it. Put them to work. They got to
Sure.
earn
No,
it.
absolutely,
We
absolutely.
can't just hand this. See, this is I.
But we're not handing. We're not handing though.
Maybe it's because I'm a little heartless on this situation. I probably sound very heartless in this situation.
Yep.
But I don't care. There are people here in this country that need it.
I agree. There are people here in this country, but I also agree with not. I wouldn't use the word privilege because I don't agree with people have more privilege over another. I believe that everyone's born with a brain. Everyone's born with
Yes, I won't
with-
disagree with you on that. I agree with you 100%.
with a moral compass. And people
Okay.
are smart enough to realize I'm growing up in a shitty country.
Yeah.
I'm growing up where, wow, this country is beautiful. All these kids have phones. All these kids have Facebook.
Yes.
And all these kids have access to free food,
some
to food
cultures
and
are
water.
more blessed than others. Some cultures are more blessed than others.
And then you look at what you have, and you're walking around on dirt roads
You
where,
can't find clean water.
where you can't even,
Yeah.
where you got to walk 20 miles to get water.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So people aren't dumb, but people are happy. People find emotional joy within
Yeah.
their own culture, right? These people that are leaving Honduras are smart because they see America as the promised land, which it is. It's the greatest fucking country
They
in the
see
world.
free welfare and free money.
We're not going to give them free welfare and free money.
We already are.
No,
There's a lot
when
of
you
people
become
that
a
are.
United States citizen, we're not going to give them free welfare and free money. We're not letting them in on work visas.
Here's where I get an issue with it. If there's even out of those 7,000 people, just one of them that tries to buck the system, we messed up. We messed up because one of them is now bucking the system, and that's someone who actually genuinely.
So why
needs
don't
it
we
that can't have it.
enforce the system harder?
I agree.
Why
we
wouldn't
should.
that?
We really
Why wouldn't
should.
that be the issue? So why? So
I don't.
let's
think
say
we
you
should
have
help-
100.
here-
Let's say you have 1,000 immigrants that want to come from Europe.
Hold on a second.
And one of them
I gotta
mess
get this
up.
out. I gotta get this out. I don't think that we should help these people on a moral high ground for humanitarian purposes when we can't even help ourselves right now.
But when
We
you
have-
say
we
help
have a lot of
ourselves, who are
issues.
you talking about?
There's a mental health issue in this country. We need to get those people.
There's
set.
access everywhere.
Sure, I get it, but there's a lot of people that are on the streets that have it rough right now. In this, you can go.
But
to,
it's their choice.
I don't know if it's always their choice.
I would say a very high percentage. Most of those people
Well,
that
we
are
need to
living on the
fix
streets
those
are some
people
sort of
first.
drug addict.
We need to fix those people first. We need to get rid of the drug problem here, right? These people are going to be bringing in more
But
drugs.
then what do
maybe.
you do? Are we talking about cracking down on drugs again, Bill Clinton?
No, we don't need to crack down on drugs.
So
I think
then
we need
what
to make
are
drugs
we
more
trying-
accessible. Regulated, sure, but more accessible. I don't want to say
we
regulated.
want to
I
make
don't wanna say
drugs
regulated.
more accessible.
Oh yeah.
This went from supporting 7,000 Honduras to you saying we need to make drugs more acceptable.
Certain drugs, obviously, not all drugs.
Heroin, cocaine.
If you want to use it, use it. Have fun. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do it. It's bad. It's just what gets me is that
How do you
there's-
fix it? How do you fix the problem
you
that we
can't
face?
fix it, but I don't
Who
want to
takes
go. I
accountability?
don't want to go on a moral high ground saying we need to be morally responsible for these people.
You already are on a moral high ground saying that these people are worth more than these people. Now I'm with.
The only reason I think that
remember, I am with you. I agree. Help Americans first.
The only reason I think these people are worth more is because they're already here.
I agree.
They're already here, and they can already pay taxes. They already have.
So what do we need to do different?
Fix here first.
How?
Don't know. It's going to take a lot of work, but at least we won't have to worry about anyone around us.
But that's not a valid answer.
It is a valid answer.
I could come up with an answer of how to help 7,000 Honduras immigrants.
Yes,
crossing through Mexico.
And you know what? I will be very
so how
upset
can you
when
not
you raise
come up
my
with,
taxes.
how can you not come up with an answer to help
Because
homeless
I don't think your
Americans?
answer is very good. Because I'm sorry, I don't think your answer is very good. I think your answer would raise taxes, would make people
raise taxes. Whoa, what?
Yeah, who's going to pay for it?
Mexico.
You're going to make
the
Mexico
bill is going to be so small on our end.
To feed these people.
Yeah.
And to pay for the government to.
Have you ever played that game online where you guess the word and people in Asia get a thing of rice? Yeah, we can do that. Do you know how cheap it is, though, to be able to feed people between two countries?
For a year, I mean...
Between two countries, I'm being serious.
Again,
you already have the security. You already have a military.
It's a handout.
You already pay them anyway.
They need to earn it. I don't think... And I just don't think it's fair to
how
the
do
people...
Why do they need to earn it more than a guy from France that is applying for the same citizenship?
Guy in France needs to earn it, too. They all need... I'm not saying one of them
deserves it. What do you mean they need
to
earn it?
So
what do you mean work on it?
Here's what gets me. So, like I said... You have someone that's already applied for it, did it the right way, as opposed to going up to your front door, banging on it, saying, "Let me in."
But in Guatemala, they can't do that because they don't have internet access. Do you know what it is to get? Do you know what it is to get citizenship from another country in the United States? You go to your embassy.
It's a lot of work.
You go to your embassy.
Work, yes.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of work.
Now these 7,000 people are going, "Hey, listen, we're fleeing a country that literally wants to kill us." So number one, we need to get out of the country before we can do anything.
Yep.
That's what they're doing.
Yep.
They're just going to the country next door, which is Mexico. Now they're going to the border because you can't stop 7,000 people in an internet cafe one by one each day and go, "Hi, yeah, can I use your computer? I just got to fill out for citizenship."
Sure.
And you don't want 7,000 people going to the Mexican embassy because that would be we would deploy troops because of the security threat that would pose. The best case scenario is for them to come to the border where there's already the military sitting there.
Get right. Yeah. Here's how we get your attention.
I agree with this notion of banging on the front door.
I don't.
Because what else can they do? So you're just saying, well, that sucks. You were born in a country where...
It's basically, you guys are just screwed at this point. If that's the case, you guys are just screwed at this point. There's other people there's already people that did it first. There's already people in front of you. I'm sorry, you can't cut the line.
No, but they're not trying to cut the line.
They are,
I think you're missing the communication point between what I'm trying to say.
It takes years for a Mexican who's trying to file for U.S. citizenship. It doesn't take a year. It takes sometimes decades for these people to get in.
That's what I'm saying. So along with this, we need to figure out how to boost up that system.
I don't think so. We don't want to let everyone in here. I mean, at that point, you're going to be overpopulated.
It's already overpopulated.
I mean,
we're already screwed at that point.
To be honest with you, back in World War II, when we were turning people away, it wasn't a bad thing. I'm not saying that immigration is bad. Immigration is very, very good for the country. Immigration is a fantastic thing. Everyone should try to come here. It's amazing. But we can't accept... Imagine putting all of Europe in America.
You can't just say everyone should try to come here and
then...
say, sorry, guys. So then what do you do with the 7,000 people?
I would turn them around.
And never allow them to become United States citizens?
Do it the right way. I'm sorry.
But they're doing it the right way.
No, they're coming to you.
They're doing what everybody else is doing.
They're coming to your front door and banging on it. They're coming to your front door,
but there's no other way for them to do it. Understand that these are people from a country where their government wants to kill them. Their last priority is becoming United States citizens. Their first priority is security. I think you could agree with that.
Say it again.
These people are coming from a country where their government wants to, in their military, in their police force, want to kill them.
Then, I mean, at this point, then I'd be for us helping to give. I mean, I'd even say I'd be help us. I would. Excuse me. I would.
Are you saying military intervention within their country? Because that would be a bigger bill.
Police action that would be.
That would be a bigger bill.
I don't think
and that would cost American lives.
Here's the thing: is again, I'll go on the libertarian standpoint. We're not responsible for the rest of the world. All right,
we're not responsible, but this is what it comes. This was what comes with freedom. This comes with being the greatest country in the world.
It does come with being the greatest country, but I don't think that we need to police the world.
You don't hear people fleeing to Russia because Russia sucks.
No, I wouldn't. Yeah, I mean,
you don't hear people fleeing to Chile because Chile sucks. You don't hear people fleeing to Zimbabwe because Zimbabwe sucks. You hear people fleeing to the UK. You hear people fleeing to Germany, France, Spain, the United States of America, Canada.
Yeah.
Because those countries are secure, they're safe, and they're smart.
I don't know. We'll go. Well, this one. We still got a little bit of time. You want to keep going on this?
We're killing it.
We really should, because we've never really had a genuine disagreement.
This is good
on this. So yeah, I'm actually kind of interested in this. I just
believe me, man. I totally agree in some points.
But
they're doing it the right way. They're doing what everybody else is doing. They're fleeing they're fleeing something that's going to kill them. I believe security over law any day.
So
I'd break any law to know that my family is safe any day. And I think you would too.
Let me ask you this. So they do it, okay?
Yep.
And that sets a precedence. They're like, you know what? America is now taking anyone who's fleeing for self-righteous reasons. We go bang on their front door. They will let us in because they have to, on a moral grounds of, we need this. Whatever it will be, pick your poison. Now, say it doesn't have... I don't want it to be a difficult decision where it's like someone from Africa is just like going to take a boat, or someone from India is going to just take a boat. A big cruise ship full of 3,000 people are just going to come here and demand to get in. Do you just accept anyone at that point? Because you got to figure, you just accepted these 7,000 people on the grounds of, well, we're morally responsible for them because they came to our front door and banged on it to, like, let us in.
Tell them to join the camp. Tell them to get in line.
So you would keep the camps open permanently?
It's going to be minimal. It really is minimal. We're giving them humanitarian. I believe as a nation.
I would imagine if you're keeping it minimal, it's going to look like a ghetto. Where are they going to go to the bathroom? They're going to be eating scraps. You got to have at least a plumbing system.
Nowadays, I mean, what I'm saying is, there's going to be so many volunteers, and you could. Every nation has people that they already pay, that they could easily go, hey, listen, instead of you sitting here and crunching numbers for this city and wherever because this guy never paid his taxes.
Sure.
Go help here for 2 months. We need you to break down beds, do this stuff. And people are going to do it. People really would do it. People aren't going to be opposed. You're going to have United States citizens going to Mexico to help out.
Yeah, probably.
You know what I mean? There are good people, and I believe that those are good people.
No, a lot of people want to do that stuff, yep.
I believe in the humanitarianness of it. Now, I believe that you're right. We shouldn't be breaking the bank to do it. So I'm not saying we're not going to build buildings that it's going to be a hotel and they're going to have showers and they're going to
build a big Trump tower down in Mexico.
No, we're going to have basic. We're going to have a massive trough for the guys and a couple toilets for the ladies. We're going to be building porta potties. There's going to be a lot of people from all over that are going to donate and help with this.
I would just see it turning into just something that would just look disgusting and be just a huge help.
Well, make sure it doesn't. And if it does,
so you got to add.
And if it does, put it on them. Say, hey, listen, you need to meet our criteria of this camp. If you don't, everyone's applications get held.
Well, why don't we just hold their applications now? Because they're banging on the front door.
So what are they going to do? They're just going to die at our border? Wow, that's going to be a great CNN headline where it says United States denies 7,000 immigrants and all 7,000 of them died at the border.
They could have turned around and went back.
Do you know what that would cause? Do you know how the country would look? Do you know how the world would look at us?
I don't care how the world looks at us. The world already looks at us in a weird way.
We are a superpower, but there are other superpowers, so I care.
No, there's only one superpower.
False.
Who's the other superpower?
You tell that to China and Russia. In the UK.
UK is not a China and Russia, maybe.
The UK has all of Europe with them. As much as we like to think that the United States has all of Europe.
They can have all of Europe with them. They can have it. They can have it.
Do you think the United States would be able to invade Europe?
I think we can destroy anybody.
Oh
that's a whole nother rabbit hole, but we could destroy anybody. And I'm not saying that...
I believe that we could destroy countries individually. Yes. But could we go against the European Union? No. As a whole, no.
I think we could. But that's a whole nother rabbit hole to go down.
That's next week's topic. I like that. Can we do that? Military...
U.S. versus everyone else.
Who would win?
I think the U.S. would win.
Accountability.
But it's where was I going with this? What was I just saying? I don't care what the rest of the world thinks about us. You have to do you first. You have to do America first, and then care about what the guy next to you thinks. Are you gonna, when you have a house and you have a family, are you gonna care more about what your neighbor thinks or what you think of yourself?
I'm going to care more about the security of my family and removing them from any situation that could get them killed. That's exactly what I would believe.
So why don't you do that for your border?
Why don't I what?
Why wouldn't you do that for your border? You wouldn't care about...
But I'm not removing my family. I'm protecting my country. So, hold on. Let me I know exactly where you're going to go with that.
Sure, yeah.
My priority is not laws. My priority is safety, food, water, and living.
Yep.
Surviving.
Okay.
That's priority. And I believe that almost anybody would agree with that. I don't care who you are, you would agree with that. People would do anything to live. Some people wouldn't, but some people would.
Some people have the will to do anything to live.
Sure.
I agree.
Now, my priority is if I had a family, a wife and then 2 kids, my priority for them is safety. Are they safe?
Yes.
Are they going to get killed? First priority was remove them from any application where they could get hurt.
Okay.
Now, my name is Juan Pablo, and I live in Guatemala.
Okay.
I'm removing my family from Guatemala.
Mm-hmm.
It's scary. They could die. I need to get them out.
Yep.
I go to Mexico. I'm in Mexico. Now, I say to Mexico, well, this place isn't that great either. In Mexico, they have a lot of cartel action. They do have a corrupt police force.
Absolutely, yep.
One country over, the United States of America, the greatest country to ever be known to anybody.
Absolutely.
I need to apply there.
Yep.
I'm going to go there to the border, say, how you doing? Yep, me and my family would like to come in.
Yep.
Here you go, sir. Fill out these applications, fill out these forms. Okay, thank you. Now you fill out the applications and forms.
Yep.
You submit just like everybody else. I'm banging on your front door, and I'm submitting all my applications just like everybody else.
Okay.
And then what? Juan Pablo has a family that he just left an oppressive military action government type of country.
Yep.
Where he couldn't walk outside because he might get shot. Now he's in a country where that's doing the same thing, just on a more covered up scale, if you will. Thousands of people die in Mexico because of cartel and military action. Now Juan Pablo is faced with the issue of, what do I do with my family? This process could take forever. What am I going to do? But now make this on a bigger scale. You have 7,000 people. Let's say you have 3,500 families. Or let's say 2,000, because there's 3 or 4 people per family.
Okay.
2,000 families. A massive. Now, obviously, nobody wants to see anybody get shot and killed.
No.
Nobody wants to see people die.
Nobody wants to see that, yes.
So, I guess in my point of view, we're going to treat them on the same list as everybody else. No, they're not getting priority. They're going to get humanitarian help. And what I mean by that is most of the people that want to immigrate into the United States already live in a country, or technically are stable in a country, where they went to their embassy safely without the fear of getting killed.
Sure.
And we're able to fill out these forms, and they're waiting just like everybody else.
Yep.
And they go back to their homes, they go to their 9-to-5 job in France, and they come back and they do whatever. Now, I know they're not all from France. I know some people are from China.
If I'm understanding you correctly, this is what you're basically trying to say. They come from Guatemala in the Caravan.
Yes.
They come up to the United States border. The United States says, if you want citizenship, do it the right way. Here are these forms. Fill them out.
Yes.
They fill them out. Why don't they just go wait in Guatemala? We'll call them.
So you're saying in order to obtain citizenship as a Guatemalan,
if you're going to do it the right way, you're not going to get special privileges because everybody else.
But you're not getting special privileges. Understand that
I know that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you just come here, you fill out your form, go back. We'll call you.
Call you? These people don't have cell phones.
No, we'll come pick you up.
We'll come pick you up. Like what is this? A glorified Uber?
Along those lines.
Man, you can make a lot of money.
It's for argument's sake. They come in.
There's no way to get in contact. You're going back to.
It's not like they're in the dark ages. There's always a way to get a contact with somebody.
Not in Guatemala.
You're pushing this a little too far over the edge where it's like they're living in the dark ages. They kind of
are.
They're not living in the dark ages. Come on.
They're living in a country where the government controls electricity.
They're living in a shit show. I don't disagree with you. They're living in a terrible situation.
They control the electricity. That's the dark ages. You know who else does that? North Korea.
They're living in the Stone Age. All right, I won't disagree with you on that.
Really? Yeah. So you would say North Korea is living in the Stone Age? So Guatemala, where they do all the same shit.
I'm more educated on North Korea than I am Guatemala, though.
So put it this way, though. what is the problem with protecting people that are running away from a government that wants to kill them? Now, I'm not saying letting them into the country.
As
They're
long as we
already
don't
in
let 'em
Mexico.
we can
They're
list-
already in Mexico.
Okay.
And the Mexicans already employ military members that they already pay for sitting on a base and doing absolutely nothing. Now they're just
they're doing something, but sure, okay.
Now they're just going to another base and they're just protecting helpless people that are leaving their country, trying to get access to the greatest country in the world.
Yep. You're pulling at the heartstrings really hard
All we're
right
doing
now.
as the United States is we already give all sorts of aid to all other countries.
We give a lot of aid to all. We give a lot more than anyone else.
Take some of that back and go, let's put it into this, because these are people that are trying to become Americans.
That's special treatment.
But it's not making their applications get further up the list. The people,
No,
the
but
guys
that's
from
taking
Canada,
aid away from somebody else.
It's not taken away from anybody. Oh, it's taken away from people in Zimbabwe because we've been sending them multi-million dollars food packages.
I don't think we need to be sending it to them. I don't think we need to be sending it to anybody.
Exactly, but why
We
wouldn't
need
you
to
want to
keep it
help
within
people
the
that want to
country.
become United States citizens? Wouldn't you put priority over people that want to become United States citizens over people that don't have any plans on coming to America or helping America at all?
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that. I'll agree with you on that.
So why wouldn't you put your resources in that? I got you. I know by the smirk on your face.
I don't think you've got me at all. I mean, you have a good point, but again, at the end of the day, I still see it as this.
Why do we give money to other countries' governments?
I don't know. I don't think we should.
Why not take that back and why
Terrible
not put it
trade deals.
into why not take that back and put it into our government, upgrading the process and the administrativeness to getting these applications processed quicker and
Well, I
more
mean,
thoroughly.
if that's where you want to put the money, I wouldn't. That's your priority for it. I would be.
It's
like,
not my priority, but I'm talking the political climate we live in right now. What's going to catch the most political backlash? What's going to make America look better? Because America looks pretty shitty compared to the rest of the world right now. And what I mean by that is the president that we have now is a great president. And
He's
I'm
a
not
laughing stock of the world.
But he is the laughing stock of the world. And countries don't take us as seriously, so they think that they can screw us over with trade deals. They think that they can push us around.
Yeah, here's
And
where
if we want to exercise real diplomacy, we do humanitarian things. If we want to exercise, hey, we're going to flex on you. We're going to take our money away and we're going to spend it how we want to spend it.
Sure.
That's a good flex. Weird flex, but okay.
weird flex, but okay.
Now, I think your point is good, and I see your point.
I like what you said there, and it's what gets me is that I don't care what the rest of the world thinks of us. I think the rest of the world is a laughing stock compared to us because we have it a lot better than they do.
But you need to stay on good grounds.
I understand
Because you don't want
that.
the rest of the world trying to bang on our door for
I understand
military
that,
action.
but here's where I think the media skews a lot of things. Just because the people, for example, in Europe want to have a big balloon of baby Donald Trump, around the city, doesn't mean that's what government officials want. Everyone knows that Trump is good for America. Everyone knows it. And it's bad for everyone in these other countries. But America, a strong America is a strong world. It's like if the Chinese economy were to ever collapse and crumble, the world markets would go down. It's the same thing with the United States. If the United States were to ever crumble, the world markets will go down. So no one will ever be like, oh, we're going to go against America because they're not humanitarian. They're always going to be with us because if we're strong, they're strong. That's what being a superpower is like.
Right, but we're exercising that we are stronger than every other country right now. Because every other country would never take in 7,000 Guatemalan immigrants.
Germany would.
No, not anymore.
Not anymore because it didn't turn out good the last time.
But that doesn't matter.
So why would we do it? They already made the mistake.
No, but they're not
Learn from
doing it in the same way.
Learn from it. History shows
But they're not
taking in all these people just out of whim because it's the right thing to do
But we're not
morally
doing it in a whim.
does not mean it's
we're
good.
doing it how we do with everybody else. They're going through the same process as a guy from
All right,
Canada that has 900 acres and wants to come to America because he wants to retire in Florida. We're doing it the same way.
Right.
Everyone's getting the same application. I see your point.
I see your point,
typically
too.
I
I
would
just don't
agree
agree.
with what you say.
Uh-huh.
Because I you know me personally, I have the mentality as I don't care what anybody thinks.
Right.
We're going to rock and roll. This is America.
Exactly.
Get with it.
Yeah.
But this is a humanitarian issue where it's, well, we're not going to put a hell of a lot of money into it. We're just not.
Right.
Because the list is huge to become a citizen. So
It's
it's only
a dense process.
every day it's only getting bigger. You know what I mean? It's not getting smaller. Definitely isn't getting
No,
smaller.
it definitely isn't getting smaller.
So people are going to guaranteed work. We're going to create jobs in the administrative role.
It would create.
It would take time.
Your plan where you would have the little camps would create jobs for sure.
But
I mean, even if people were just
but it's gonna be
volunteering too, you still have to pay the military.
Remember that we're going to have two countries working at this. Mexico would definitely help with something like this because obviously Mexico doesn't want to help out. I mean, doesn't want these people.
Look good, they'd be stupid to not do it.
And and it doesn't want. And Mexico doesn't want these people in their society either.
Right.
Because Guatemala is going to see that as well. Mexico's taking all our people. What's the beef, Mexico? Why are you offering these people amnesty? I'd rather have an issue with Guatemala than Mexico, personally. Now I know that you think Mexico's weak, and I understand that, but Guatemala is a hell of a lot weaker. I'd rather have a beef with a weaker country. I'd rather look at the long-term benefits than the short-term. Now, I get it. Germany screwed up, and they let a lot of Syrians in without vetting anybody.
Yeah.
But all these people
we would be vetting
people? I'd rather vet everybody and set up a camp where a child lives for a year with their mom and dad, and we give them basic humanitarian help.
Sure.
Like we do in all other African countries.
I mean, we do it in a lot of countries as well, but like I said, it's still, we're just running around in circles at this point because I still think I'm not going to agree with you. I'm sorry, I'm just not going to agree with you. And
the beauty of this is I don't want you to agree with me. I like talking about it.
That's what's so great about this country is that we can
roll,
disagree
man.
with each other.
Absolutely.
And we have the right to disagree with each other. Constitutional right. Take that, Europe. You don't have that.
Take that, Europe.
Yeah, you guys can't say anything.
We don't want your tea either.
Europe says something that the government don't like, their asses in jail. That's why I hate Europe. United States is
I don't really think that's how most of it is over there, though.
Well, I mean, if you use the wrong gender pronouns for someone and someone gets offended, you can get in a lot of trouble. Yeah. It's what it's like in Canada right now. Canada's becoming a shithole.
Are people getting arrested, or is it kind of more of like
people
a beef?
Are getting arrested because because words hurt. And I'm not even saying that as I'm not even saying that for dramatic effect. Like, look up some of the crazy stuff that people are getting in trouble in Canada for.
But is it like a mass, like are hundreds of people?
It's not like millions of people, no. But even if it's just one person, that's too many. For speaking their mind, for speaking freely, you're getting thrown in jail.
Well, that's
wrong.
the beauty of having a constitution, I guess, is like you have a preamble,
right.
you have certain.
You can't tell me what I can and can't say.
You have certain unalienable rights.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this one went on a little bit longer. This was the first time we actually had a debate where we disagreed with one another.
This was a good conversation.
And I was really surprised we disagreed with one another. But I'll just end it at this. I think that we need to take care of the people that are already here. We need to do humanitarian work for America first.
I agree. And how do we do that?
By not giving Caravan help. By not helping these Caravan
taking
people.
away all the funding that we're giving countries that don't even care about America.
Yeah, I'm all for that, too.
Take that money and put it back into some of that stuff.
Yeah.
But also, these people that are coming to us that want to be United States citizens, that we're going to treat fairly with the same application, we're just going to set them up so that they can be able to do a process like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to sound heartless, and if I do sound heartless, whatever, but I mean, I'm all for, I mean, even the Californian people, people in California, the crazy lefties, help them out first.
Can we build a border wall around them too?
We should build a border wall around California.
Yeah.
We should. But that's it for today. That's what's going to do it for today. Follow us on Instagram at @TheCapToday. Twitter at @TheCapToday, and let us know what you think about this. I mean, come on, whose side are you on? Team Tyler, Team Josh on this? Do we help these people? Do we build camps? Do we do what I said? Just build this giant hole that they'd have to tightrope across to get here? Be pretty dope. That's it. We'll see you in the next one.